Hello everyone, it's now time to do reports and queries for Courtney's video game and movie rental company. We're going to do three things today. You're going to learn how to construct a report, a simple basic report, and you're going to learn how to query the database, that is, ask it questions. And once you get the answers, you're going to learn how to construct a report out of the query. The first thing you must do is open up our database, and you were assigned to do the Courtney video assignment. And I'm going to go to Access and open up mine. You'll have to navigate to wherever you saved yours, but however you do it, let's get there and open up the database. Now, what you would have done so far is you would have had to have created the movie rental table. I'll double click on that, and these are all the various field names going across and all the data that you've entered. You should now the video store rents movies, and they also rent out video games. So the movie rental table is literally movies, Gone with the Wind, Despicable Me, and so forth. And they also rent out video games. So you create a separate table for video games. And there are the games that they rent: Kill Aliens, Get Off My Planet, all that kind of stuff. Now, you can enter data two ways. You can enter it onto the table, or you could enter it onto forms. Now, I'm going to click on the movie rental form. Before I do that, I want to explain that the tables show all of the information about all of the video games. Now, let's go to the video game entry form. The entry form shows all the information about one game at a time. You get down the bottom and move to the next game, the next game, the next game, and so forth. And the same thing with movie rental data. That shows all the movies information, all the information about one movie at a time. But let's now get to our task and close out of these things I just demonstrated. And let's get back to the beginning. All right, now your first task is to construct a report that shows the name of the movie, the number of rentals that we've had out on it, and which are the most popular from top to bottom. We'll do that by, since this is a request for movie information, we'll click on the movie table. I'll then come up to the Create button, and I'll choose a report. I want to do this in Report Wizard. I'll click on Report Wizard. Now it says, which table are you interested in? I have two tables. One is the movie rental table, the other is video game table. I'm interested in the movie records. Now that's already the one that's highlighted anyway, so I'm going to leave it right there at the movie rental records. That's the one I want. Now the only information I want in this is I want to have the name of the movie. So I click Name of Movie and push the right arrow over into the selected field. I want to know the number I have out on rental, and I'll move that over to the right hand side. Then I'm going to click Next, and then just go to the Next. Now it asks, do I want these in any kind of order? And yes, I do. I want these in order by the number of rentals. And instead of ascending order, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I want them in, I want them in descending order. So I'll click where it says ascending, I'll click descending. Now this means it's going to come from the highest numbers down to the lowest. So my report will show the highest number of rentals are at the top, and the lowest number of rentals are at the bottom of the report. So again, I just selected the number on rental is the one I want to sort by, and I want it to be in descending order. I'll click the Next button, and yes, this is the form I want. I'll click Next. It says, what do you want to call this? Now, this is a report, so I'm going to have to change the name, and I want to call this the Movie Rental Report. The Movie Rental Report. And then I'll click Finish, and there's my report. At this point, I notice some problems with it. I see the number of rentals is not showing where it ought to be, and it's too close. So let's fix this. The only way you can fix it, you have to close it first. Let's close out of it by going to the upper right-hand corner and click Close It. Now, let's go back to the movie rental and fix it. So I'm going to highlight the movie rental report, And I'm going to open it. Okay, well, I'll just highlight it. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to go to File. Oops, sorry. I'll go back to Home. I need to open it first. Okay, I have to open it first. So I'm going to double click on the movie rental report. Okay, now it's open. Now I can click on the View tab and choose Layout View. Click. And now you see that these yellow highlights appear. I can move my cursor to the top one and move my cursor so it becomes a two-way arrow and drag it over to the left like that, and now it's centered better. The movie name, I don't like it being so close to movie rental, so I'm going to click and drag it over to the right a little bit here. There we go. And now let's take the names of the movies under it. I'm going to go over to the left-hand edge, click and drag these over a little bit here, further away. Now, you know what? I'm going to click on the movie name and move it over a little bit here again. I think that'd probably be a little bit better. Yeah, well, just play with it, make it look decent. Okay, I'm satisfied. That looks decent. All I have to do is click the close that and close out of this. And if you want to save the changes, yes, I do, so click yes. And now, anytime I open up the rental report, there it is. It looks nice. That's all there is to creating that kind of a report. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to query the database. I want to ask it some questions. After all, why do you have a database? You got to use it for something. So the owner of the business has told us what she wants us to search the database for. She wants us to search it and find the total number of video game rentals that are greater than 10 and only 3 late rentals. You'll see what I mean in a second. So she's asking us to search the game records. So I'm going to go to the table for video games and open video games. All right, with that open, she wants to query it, ask it a question. So we will go up to the Create button and we'll come over to where it says Query, and we're going to do it in Design View. Click Query, Design View. Just click on that. And it's asking you which table you want to show. Well, I want to show the video games, not the movies, but the video games. So you have to click on Video Game Records and click Add. It then appears up here. You now then have to close out of this box. Close out of that. Now you can't read all the names, so I'm going to click in the bottom corner and drag it so I can read all the names. Okay, the owner of the store wants to know the game title. So I'm going to double click on that. Click, click, and notice it appears down the bottom, game title. She wants to know the game title and how many are out on rental. So we'll click number out on rental. Go click, click. And she wants to know the number of late returns. So I'll go click, click on late returns. Whoop, it didn't show up at the bottom yet, so I go double click again. Click, click, there it is. I'm going to widen these up a little bit so you can read them. Always make the columns wide enough so you can read it and see what you're doing. Okay, there we are. Now, she tells us she wants to know all the names of the games that are out. And as far as numbers out on rental, she only wants to know the ones that are being rented where there's 10 or more of that game out at one time. That means it's a popular game. So we're going to search the database to look for any rentals where there are greater than 10 out. So in the criteria line, that's the criteria line when my arrow is moving, under video game, under number out on rental, see under number out on rental, down here in the criteria box, I'm going to press greater than 10. So it will find any game titles that are out that are 10 or more of those titles are out at the same time. Now she'd like to know how many have been returned less than 3 times late. So we're going to answer a question. We go down to the criteria line where my arrow is moving and go on to number of late returns. You can see right there. And I'm going to put less than symbol and put 3. So my query will search the database to find any video games that have 10 or more of that title out at the same time and that have been returned late less than 3 times. To run the query, you come up the upper left-hand corner and click the button that says Run. And that's all there is to it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 movies, and notice the number out on rental. All of them are greater than 10. And look at the number of late returns. These ones are all less than 3, so our query searched for the right information. We can now close that query, and when you close it, it asks you, do you want to save it? And yes, we do. Click yes. Now, the name of this query will be I'm going to call this, okay, games out greater than 10, returns less than 3. I don't know if it's going to take those symbols in my title, but let's see if it does. I have to give the query a name, so I'll try that. Click OK, and there it is. You see, I now have a query. And if I want to see, oh, the game's out greater than 10 or whatever, let's click on that. Click, click, and there's the query. But you know, that information itself isn't very helpful. I need to make this into a report. Well, it's very easy. Let's just close out of those things first. Now, to make a report out of a query, all you do is open the query, go click, click, and go to the Create button. And I simply want to create a report as is. Click the Report button, click. That's it. It's all done. What you can do, you know, I don't like how these numbers, I'm going to highlight these numbers, oops, I'm going to highlight, I guess I got to do one field at a time. The number out on rental, I want to center those numbers. So I'm going to go back to Home, and I'm going to click this Center button. There it goes. And then I want to click in number of late returns, and I want to center those numbers, so I'll click Center. And you know, that's all there is to it. Click Close. Do you want to save changes? Click Yes. And the report name is the same. Click OK. So there you are. You now have created a query and 2 separate reports. And that's all there is to completing the Courtney's movie game rental assignment. So good luck. Get in touch with me if you need any help. Thank you. And always be sure to close your database before you leave. There we go. And thank you.